So the world was still not able to accept the motor wagon complete, and horses still dominated the transport industry. Now the new challenge was developing in New York. It was actually growing too fast. The rate of urbanization in New York City during the turn of century was shocking. They went from 60,000 residents to 3.5 million residents in just under 100 years. Up till that point, no city in the human history had urbanized that quickly. Skyscrapers were being built, immigrants coming from all over the Europe, and the New York City was transforming. And this massive rise in human population also brought with it a massive rise in horse population. By the late 19th century, New York was a home to some 2 lakh horses, transporting over 1 million of inhabitants and thousands of tons of produce daily. But the horses gathered 60,000 gallons of urine and 2.5 million tons of manure each day on the New York City road. Each day, roads became blocked, vacant lots filled with the mountains of manure 6 stories high. Imagine the heights and imagine the odor it would have created at that time. 20,000 deaths each year were blamed on the flies feeding on the horse waste. With many more horses and inability to remove the waste from the city, they hit a critical breaking point. They also had a 10-day conference where all the industrialists came together and brainstormed for fighting this problem. But the conference was called off in just 2 days with no results in hand. Well, the solution lied with a farmer's son, a man whose name would become synonymous with the auto industry, Henry Ford. It takes a huge leap of look to look around the world where only the wealthy owns an automobile and say this could be something that everyone should have access to. Henry Ford was a farm kid and he hated farm life. That's why he gradually moved to the city and worked with Thomas Edison. Ford was always fascinated with pocket watches, and it is said that with his first paycheck, he actually purchased one. When he opened the watch, he actually was astonished to find out that the watches are made of such small tiny pieces which are actually very simple. So he was fascinated with an opportunity that why can't this be made economical and made available to everyone else? His father fell ill. He went back to the farm and took care of his father. When he came back, thankfully, the idea of making economical watches was replaced by making low-cost cars. So he started making a car in a workshop which was just behind his house. And it is said that when he completed the car, he realized that the car cannot come out of the garage because the gate of the garage was too small. So he eventually knocked down the wall and got the car out of the garage. It had taken him approximately 3 years of experimentation to get the car on the road, but it was still an expensive toy. Although it was enough of success to attract interest of investors, who set up Ford, his own company, so he could pursue the bigger ambition to make a low-cost cars that an average could afford. But he realized that he needed to simplify the engine as much as possible. So that is when he started knocking out the things from the Model T. Yes, the Model T was a car which he invented the first, actually which commercially was being sold. When you open a hood of Model T, you will realize that there are various components which were knocked out from the perspective of cost cutting, like water pump and etc. These were removed just for the purpose of reducing the cost. However, the cost was reduced, but not to the extent as the Ford expected it to be. Now, the next big invention was on its way, and that was mass production of automobile. That was the conveyor belt concept. Ford's second breakthrough was to mass produce the parts, whereas other manufacturers handmade only a few high-priced vehicles. Ford gambled on selling a lot of cars in 1909, the Model T's first year of production. He sold over 10,000 at $825 each, the equivalent of around $18,000 today. It was a promising start, but Ford had set his sights on a much bigger market. He just needed to speed up the Model T's production and slash the pricing to the half. His biggest challenge was as simple as it was. Building a Model T was still a time-consuming, labor-intensive process. A solution would be found in the most unlikely, unsavory of places: slaughterhouse. Shortly after Model T began to ship, one of the senior employees visited Chicago meat factory. He saw carcasses hung from a moving hooks in the ceiling. Each worker performed a very specific and specialized job before passing the carcasses on. It was a disassembling line. He realized that by reversing the process and adapting it to the factory, the production of cars, the Model T, would be made much faster and easier. Ford was also convinced and created an assembly line in a new, purposefully built factory. He was able to cut $250 off the car's price, and by 1913 he was able to define timings at each stage of the process, and that he could install a moving conveyor belt, slashing further off the price. At the peak of Model T's production, Ford was assembling 150 cars an hour, selling them less than a third of original price. So finally he was able to sell the car at $260, whereas other automobiles were costing around $4,000. And once Model T was evolved, there were accessory industries which came up. You wanted a better power? Install this accessory. Wanted a better horn? Install this accessory. So there were a whole lot of more businesses which came with the Model T launch. The automobile was no longer a rich man's plaything. Henry Ford had made it possible for anyone to own a car. Henry Ford made 16 million of these. And remember that great horseman crisis? Well, that was solved because of Henry Ford. Because everyone was now driving an automobile rather than being carried in a horse carriage. And suddenly the entire world around us changed in a way that we couldn't have imagined us. So now that everyone owned an automobile, the demands actually changed because of it. Now we wanted roads to drive on. We wanted parking lots to park our car. We wanted garage to get our cars repaired. So everything revolved around the same, and the demands actually changed. Things changed fundamentally. The cars have revolutionized almost every aspect of our life, and it has even reshaped our world. The combustion engine has been so successful that it's created a new environmental crisis, one that we are on the verge of tackling. Today, automobiles emit 51 billion tons of carbon dioxide every year. It has pushed many to look once again to the Edison's dream of electric car. While battery technology has improved massively since Edison's day, it still faces some familiar issues. So the Edison's problem has to a greater extent been solved with the help of lead, the graphite which is also there in our pencils. Not going into technicalities, but it may soon be a reality that the body of the cars will be made battery itself, and hence making it possible to go on a longer distance with a short span of time spent in charging. And with this, the reality of autonomous car will also come into picture. A car which will be self-driven and thereby eliminating the need of humans totally. It will not only change the way we commute, but it will change the shape of the car. We will not need steering wheel, we will not need indicator buttons. There will be so many things which will not be needed, and there will be so many things which will additionally be needed. So it will actually be a breakthrough in itself. Also, not to forget that few days back there was a revolution again where a flying car was able to cross a city successfully. So it may again be a breakthrough wherein the aviation sector will combine with the automobile sector, and we'll experience a whole new revolution itself. Well, that was all about the evolution of automobile sector since the inception. It was not just an invention or a breakthrough. It was a combination of inventions, starting from the need of mobilizing to the invention of wheel and axle to a publicity stunt to Henry Ford getting the dream of affordable cars. It took a whole lot of years, whole lot of innovations and efforts to get us this car. And that was all about the automobile industry.